Welcome, acolytes. Today we're reacting to Ref says the zoo. Johnny Somali is going to trial in Korea. He's finished. And I am actually hoping that he goes to trial and they basically just give him the worst sentence they can, or the best. How would you say it? Actually, the biggest sentence they can, because this behavior is disgusting. And if America doesn't actually stop their stupids, then other countries have to. And I hope it will be extremely harsh. Extremely. But as it is, let's just look in what Ref has to say about him. By the way, subscribe and like. I'm not even gonna tippy dance around it. You know what to do, acolytes. Let's start.
Nuisance streamer Johnny Somali. So on the scale of effing around and
You're really nuisance streamer. Is this the actual name they are called? No. Okay.
finding out, Johnny Somali is currently entrenched on the finding out stage during his time at Korea. So as you can see, Legal Mindset here shares an article from Korea reporting that Johnny Somali has been indicted on a set of charges and is going to trial. And the specific set of charges he is facing are actually quite serious because the evidence related to that is both public and very, very set in stone for him. It seems like he is absolutely cooked.
I'm gonna say it like this. This is a theory right now because I honestly, in my freaking undead heart of hearts, hope that he gets the maximum sentence. Like, the worst that they can do, just do it to him.
Hooked if this keeps moving forward. Now, before we get into the specifics with these updates, let's just talk about Johnny Somali recently, right? We know his stay in Korea has been a very messy one. He is right now on somewhat of an apology tour trying to...
And by the way, because I get dumbasses every time, no, I don't care if he's about his skin color, he's a nuisance. I'm gonna be honest, and I hope that Logan Paul or anyone else that is in this branch, or even not, or just are disgusting human beings, also get punished for their behavior. But it won't happen, and I will be happily taking what I get.
To save face, where he has shaved his head and tried to apologize for some of the more offensive things he has done during his stay in Korea, but obviously nobody is buying that. And also, to give you an idea of just how quickly things fell apart for Johnny Somali, he was doing his normal routine in Korea once he arrived only about a month ago. You know, going around being annoying for content, but once he took it to the next level, things will never go back for him. And that involves his antics with comfort women statues where he was groping, dancing on, and kissing these statues.
And by the way, for those who don't know, because I'm gonna explain it, those women got abused, effed, and just got terribly treated, and he basically just groped them in front of everyone. F him.
Which is so offensive that it caused national outrage. And a lot of people started following him on his streams, finding him whenever he would go live, and they started beating him up to the point where Johnny Somali tried to leave the country, but was denied by Korean law enforcement because he is under investigation for a long series of charges, including offenses related to drug possession as well as assault. And
good. 10 years? Sounds fair. Over 10 years? Sounds fair enough.
And these specific charges that he might actually face are quite serious in Korea and could land him with 10 plus years in jail. Now, there's also another subset of potential charges people have been talking about over the past couple of days. So Johnny Somali made a deepfake of a Korean streamer named Bong Bong. So they had done some streams together, but Johnny Somali thought it was a good idea to post several AI-generated videos, including one where he was making out with this streamer. And as you can see in the corner here, you can see the watermark of the AI tool that he was using to make this. And the individual, the Bong Bong...
Oh, okay, I didn't know that, to be honest. But you can see how far AI actually has gotten. It's scary. You can do really bad shit stuff with this. I'm gonna be honest, this isn't... This isn't a small thing. If I'm gonna be, it's really scary. And I'm sorry. And I'm gonna say it this way. Yeah, I interrupted it for the thumbnail. Still hunting for the worst thumbnail on earth, so there's that. But in the end of the day, this stuff is just disgustingly how... I mean, I can see the photo here. That's enough for me to actually say, damn, if this is an entire video with this, because I'm gonna look it up after this, and I just take Rev's word for it right now. And it's really, really, really scary. I really, honestly hope there will come some regulations against this, or some obvious anti-AI programs that we can use to actually detect this stuff. But let's see.
Up the potential lawsuit that she was threatening to raise against Johnny Somali, but that doesn't really matter because what he did is a criminal offense in South Korea. As you can see from Reuters here, this is a very big deal in South Korea. Deepfakes are taken very seriously. In fact, they can carry up to 3 years in jail and a 30 million won fine, about $22,000. They take this stuff very seriously. And this is just one of the infinite potential charges Johnny Somali could be facing. And all of this stuff, by the way, is recorded and it's publicly available because he streams everything that he is doing. However, this is the biggest update. Like I said, Legal Mindset shares this article, and we'll hear from him later in this video about some of the specifics of the charges he is facing. But this is an article from the Junyang Daily. Okay, they say this: Johnny Somali to face trial over convenience store outburst. Johnny Somali, a U.S. streamer known for his offensive online antics, will face trial for creating a commotion in a convenience store. The Seoul Western District Prosecutor's Office said Tuesday that the streamer, whose legal name is Ramzi Khalid Ismail, was indicted without detention, charged with obstruction of business. The police handed over the streamer to the prosecution Wednesday. Now, this is very interesting. So, to make things clear...
Yeah, and by the way, I think it's fascinating how big of a menace you have to become these days just to actually get some consequences. This is disgusting. I remember when I was young in Poland, if somebody pulled this stuff, he would get fucked up. And I mean really badly fucked up. I don't mean like the nice normal, no. He would get really fucked up. And I'm gonna be honest. Fair is fair. Never shed a tear for those guys that actually went this far. Because in normal circumstances, and I'm not talking about the extremes, but in normal circumstances, they get a warning. You're a little shit once, yeah, sure. You're a little shit twice, yeah, sure. I wasn't an angel when I was younger. I'm not gonna say what I did. But let's just say it like this. My father actually knew the highest ranked police officer in our small town. And they drank together. I knew the son of his. And I got away with some shit. I never harmed anyone. Mostly. But I got away with some really, really big shit. But I also wasn't a freaking 18 plus. I was a really 12-year-old little shit. So...
clear in the legal process here. Some people are saying he's like guilty already. He's going to jail. He's been found guilty on whatever charge. That's not happened yet. It's likely to happen down the road. But right now, Johnny Somali has been indicted, which means these charges were proposed to the prosecutor's office. They accepted them, and they have now indicted Johnny Somali with these charges. And the one that he is facing is actually very interesting. It wasn't the drug possession or the alleged assaults or the deepfakes or anything like that. It was a convenience store disruption that he caused. Now, this is the actual clip. We have shown this before when we were just covering his general antics in Korea. But basically...
I'm gonna be honest, I think this wasn't the main thing. If he just stayed with this, or if this was the only thing he did, this wouldn't have meant anything. But this was the one drop of water that actually overflow everything. Because in this one, he was disrespectful as F.
He went to a convenience store in oh my god. There's copyrighted music, by the way. I have to mute this just so
it's
YouTube
fine.
itself doesn't bonk me.
I know this. I had a few gaming videos at some point on my channel, but I deleted them, just got them away with this specific channel, because this is a pure reaction channel right now, or it's gonna morph into a commentary channel if I some effing I'll get the time for it. Because right now researching this stuff by yourself is just an extra hour I cannot spend for the effing love. Like, I try it, but right now I have extra things I have to just work towards. For the love of me, I just cannot. But I also feel a bit bad. But at the end of the day, it's fine. I also enjoy the reaction the reaction stuff. Don't get me wrong. It will be, or what I'm specifically planning is a mix with commentary and reaction. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but somewhat I'm gonna do it somehow.
But basically, Johnny Somali goes into a convenience store where, very importantly, early on, he is asked to leave by the convenience store owners. But instead, Johnny Somali plays loud music. He starts dumping ramen all over the table. He throws ramen at people, starts dancing around, annoying the customers, doing all sorts of things. You can see right here, throwing ramen at people, right? Being an absolute menace. Doing something that could easily be described as, what's the phrase I'm looking for? Obstructing a business. And this is a very serious thing. It may not sound serious to you, but in South Korea, this charge can carry a lot of time.
Good, by the way. I am so happy this charge has way more meaning in... It should have more meaning here, to be honest. Because here is the freaking... This happens if you don't. If you don't stop this behavior out immediately. Or at least have that threat of stomping it out. Because most people won't do this stuff if you just present them that this could be the consequence. A lot of people will say, okay, I'm not doing it. There are still some menaces that do it, but not a lot. And by the way, imagine just being a store owner and this shit just comes in, does those things, and you lose customers because of him. That's disgusting.
In jail and some big fines that we'll get into in just a second. But to further collaborate or corroborate what we're talking about here, believe it or not, Johnny Somali actually has a TikTok account, which is kind of surprising. It's pretty much the only platform he has left at this point. He's been banned on Kick. He's been banned on multiple accounts on YouTube. He's banned on multiple accounts on Twitter. But he does have this TikTok, Johnny Somali here, where recently he uploaded this video. Again, I'm muting because of copyright. But Johnny Somali here, he is standing in front of the U.S. Embassy in Seoul, and he is flashing his passport. Now, here's something very interesting. All of my United States viewers probably already made this observation, but for those who don't know, there's something off about that U.S. passport of his. Why is that? Well, if you're from the United States and you have a passport, you are likely aware that your passport is blue. It's like a navy blue color. And his passport, obviously, is not that color. It is purple. So that tells people like me that Johnny Somali had his passport taken away, at least temporarily, by the South Korean authorities.
Oh, that's... Well, good news all around. Nice.
And then he was issued this new passport through South Korea. So that tells us that he has actually been taken in and had his passport taken away, which is something that is very serious. That doesn't just happen to Joe Schmo tourists walking down the street. They are very seriously treating
Yep.
Johnny Somali. He is not just some nuisance streamer. He is someone being treated very seriously by the government and by law enforcement. So let's now focus on some of the quotes from Legal Mindset here. If you don't know, he is an attorney who covers many different legal issues. And I'll put a link to this video and you can check out his channel if you want to as well. I highly recommend it. But he's going to tell us a little bit about the specific law that Johnny Somali violated and what he's being indicted for. So let's listen to what Legal Mindset had to say.
But let's read 314. This is what he's charged with. Interference with a business. A person who interferes with a business of another by the method of Article 313, that's the former article, so we'll read that one in a second, or by the threat of force, and we're going to get into what threat of force means, shall be punished by imprisonment for not more than 5 years or by a fine not exceeding 15 million won. By the way, whenever there's a fine exceeding 3 million won, you can be deported.
So as Legal Mindset, his chat, and I'm sure most of you watching this video would say about that possibility of being deported, no, you keep Johnny Somali. We don't want him, especially in the United States. Keep him away. Being deported is the only win that Johnny Somali could possibly have at this point.
Ref, your country created him. Keep him. Take this menace and keep him. For F's sake, just put him in prison, please.
That is his only winning option. His only winning hand at this point is to be deported because he is stuck in Korea right now and he is being tacked on with charges already, and there's already an infinite branch of potential charges he could also face as a result of his publicly documented actions in Korea. So nobody wants to see Johnny Somali deported at this point. It's a get out of jail free card for him, quite literally speaking as well. But you can also see here that Johnny Somali could face up to 5 years.
By the way, I disagree with him that this is a jail get away from jail card. No, this is a get away from jail card for Americans. Yes, those people who actually let this guy go on and on and on and on. And hey, I'm from Germany. We have our stupid fucks here. Not gonna lie. Not saying they're better, not saying they're worse. But if I could decide if those stupid fucks come back to Germany, I would say no, just get them out. We don't want those. And you should do the same. I understand Ref here. You don't want him back. No.
For his convenience store outburst. That stuff, like I said, obstruction or interference with business is a big deal, and it's a potential long jail sentence for Johnny Somali. And I think that is very hilarious. Like I said, of all the wrongdoings Johnny Somali did, who would have thought his little annoying convenience store outburst would be the one that seems like it is concrete, right? Because looking back at the clip we watched just a couple of minutes ago, I mean, everything looks so clear, right? He's being a nuisance. He is obstructing the business. But as Legal Mindset points out, there's this phrase here, threat of force. And that's going to be really important. And he would also mention that during his time in Korea and also just through his connections, he has talked with a lot of people who are not only familiar and work with the Korean legal system, but also people who are just generally knowledgeable of how these things work. And he's going to describe how important this threat of force language is under the statute.
This right here, threat of force, has been used for people obstructing businesses in a wide category of things. So essentially, as soon as they tell you to leave and you do not leave, as soon as they tell you, hey, you need to leave the store, according to what I understand, if you do not leave, if you're obstructing the business, if you're ignoring them, you're ignoring what they're telling you, you can get hit with obstruction of business.
And what does that sound like? That sounds like what Johnny Somali was doing in that convenience store. Like I said, it's very easy to describe his pattern of behavior in that store. He was obstructing the business. He was being a nuisance. He was bothering customers.
Yep, he was.
After he was told to leave.
And by the way, there is no excuse for that.
Many times. And he is someone who falls right under some of these looser definitions of threat of force, as pointed out here.
Right? So this has been used successfully against things like, for example, protests. Or things against people that are boycotting, but they're inside the store causing a commotion. So they're obstructing the business in a broad sense. They don't have to be violent and assault anyone. They just have to essentially not comply with your directions, with the directions of the business owner, the employee, right? And they can be hit with this. So understand this.
You know what? Fair enough. I think that's fair.
This is something that can be used more broadly, and it has been used with people that were nonviolent, that were just in the business, right, causing a commotion, causing a scene, and not following instructions to get out.
So that is very, very significant. I mean, based on that loose interpretation that the Korean legal system has used for threat of force, Johnny Somali just checked that off. And the fact that they charged him with that specific charge is very, very important to pay attention to. They basically picked what appears to be a slam dunk. Something that is going to likely succeed if it goes to trial, which it appears it is going to trial. So Johnny Somali is really finding out. Because just like any other legal system, if you're going to charge someone, you want to charge something that's going to stick. You're not going to just charge Johnny Somali with 50,000 loose charges. You want to pick something that he is unlikely to wiggle away from. And likely he's also going to be working with a public defender. Like, I doubt he's going to hire his own defense attorney.
No, he won't. And yes, always remember, legal actions are expensive. So you want them to stick.
In Korea, or has even the ability or the means to do so. So he is going to be facing a very uphill battle on a set of charges that he looks dead in the water on. He looks dead in the water with this stuff. And I want to add one more thing before we go here. It appears that Johnny Somali, through what appears to be Discord messages, is claiming he's filing charges on legal mindset now. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, he is flipping the script and saying that legal mindset needs to worry about the charge he's filing against him. Wow, that is very interesting stuff coming from Johnny Somali. Yeah, it's going to be pretty hard to press charges and to file a lawsuit. I should say file a lawsuit here against legal mindset while he is quite literally facing trial for his own criminal actions.
Everything's possible.
Criminal actions at this point. He's going to be facing some bigger things. So this is just another empty threat from Johnny Somali.
Yeah.
I mean, we can add legal mindset to the list of people Johnny Somali has threatened with a lawsuit, including Dexerto, PewDiePie, among many others at this point, I'm very sure. But again, to really bring this home, I mean, to think, this is going to be his undoing potentially in Korea and for his nuisance streaming career. He just couldn't leave people alone. And I think of all the things, he's done a lot of terrible things, but for this to be the downfall, the potential downfall of Johnny Somali is really poetic. It's poetic. You know, just the definition of a nuisance streamer goes into public in a foreign area and is annoying and just disrupts everyone's day. And if this is what brings him in, that is poetic, like I said. And if he thinks he's having a hard time, by the way, having a hard time walking the streets, a free man in Korea right now as a tourist, wait till he goes into jail potentially. Do you think he's going to do very well? This is a man who is not only a foreigner who would be in a foreign prison system, which is already...
Oh, he's fucked. I just remember Koreans aren't as acceptable as... Oh, no. He's probably literally fucked. Also.
A lot of trouble for someone in a situation like that. But this is someone who's there because he is openly disrespecting the culture. That is going to be a brutal, brutal experience if he ends up there. And honestly, again, Just like anyone observing what's going on here, nobody feels sorry for this dude. He has reaped what he has sown for a very long time, and we're just going to have to wait and see what happens next with this trial that has been indicated. And if we have any updates, of course, you're going to hear it from me. But anyways, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys...
As always, Rev the Legend. Acolytes, you know what to do. Sub, like, subscribe, watch Rev. Maybe, the legal guy. We have to look him up at one point. But as it is, good night.